Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 14 and compare it against the iPhone 13 Pro and see how both these iPhones hold up in 2023. Now, funny enough, these two iPhones are great. I like them a lot. There's not really a whole lot to complain about between both of them, but I still think an iPhone 13 Pro is probably the better iPhone to buy than the iPhone 14, and I'll explain that throughout this video. If you want to pick up either one of these iPhones though, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell that there are some pretty big key differences between both these devices. The iPhone 13 Pro that came out in 2021 is a beautiful iPhone. I like this iPhone a lot. It looks awesome. There's a lot of capability here. You're getting that 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's a very good looking panel. Still have the notch, but it's a 120Hz display, and I love this display a lot. I think Apple did a tremendous job here. It's not perfect, but I think it's a tremendous phone, and still to this day, I think it holds up very, very, very well. Now, with something like the iPhone 14, I think this is a tremendous phone too. I think it's a really good display. You're getting that same 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. You still have the notch up top. You still have a little bit of bezel around it, but I really like this display, and I do think that even to this day, it's a very, very good looking phone. I just think the 13 Pro is better because that one does have it has actually the promotion display on it. So this thing's still good, still has a very good, decent refresh rate at 60 Hz, but it's very smooth. But I'll definitely say the 13 Pro is the far better one here for sure. In terms of the thinness and thickness, pretty much the exact same thing. Although the iPhone 13 Pro is a much heavier phone, at least it feels like. You're getting the buttons on the same thing. 13 Pro also has a SIM card tray, where the 14 does not have a SIM card tray. So that's probably one thing to keep in mind. Both have lightning ports at the bottom, but definitely the 13 Pro feels like so much of a more expensive phone, especially when it comes down to the back of both these devices. The iPhone 14 has this standard glass back, while the iPhone 13 Pro has this frosted glass back, and that is something I love about my iPhone 13 Pro. Just look at how beautiful that phone looks. The 14 looks nice too, but the 13 Pro, there's like not even any competition. The 13 Pro looks so much better, and that's something I love, love, love about my iPhone 13 Pro. Triple camera setup on the 13 Pro, dual camera setup on the iPhone 14, MagSafe charging capability right here, wireless charging on both as well, IP certification, and that kind of covers it up. Both these phones, I think, are killing it in terms of that perspective, and that is something that I love about both these devices, but the iPhone 13 Pro is clearly the winner here in my opinion. In terms of basically software updates and improvements, both these phones are going to be a little interesting here, mostly because they're kind of at different, so they both have the same chipset. So they both have the A15 Bionic, so that complicates things a little bit further because although the 13 Pro is an older phone, the iPhone 13 Pro is probably the one that's going to last pretty much the exact same time as something like my iPhone 14. So even though this is the newer phone, they're probably going to be lasting around the same time. So I say that to say whether you're getting the 13 Pro or the iPhone 14, you're going to be roughly around in the same spot, and that's just one of those things to keep in mind. So if you're trying to get the phone that's going to last the longest between them, I don't think that's really applicable here. They're both going to be lasting roughly around the same time when it comes down to it. So that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go into a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 14 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 Pro has that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it as well, or Apple A15 Bionic chip inside with 6 GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and do their app stores. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 14 is here, 13 Pro is here. Scrolling through, let's go and see if there's a big difference, which I really don't think there's going to be, but it's always nice to kind of see. And they're both kind of giving me the same vibe, so it's not really a big difference here. We do have some of these third-party applications we can go and test on both. So let us get into it. Let's go and try Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with these applications. There can be 30,000 times where some of these apps have a random weird issues. So I hope that's not the case here. And actually the 13 Pro looks to be a little bit faster here than the iPhone 14. But the 14 is still very fast. Like it's not like it's like 30,000 times faster. It's just like slightly a little bit faster there. Hopping out of this one. Let's see what other apps we have. We can try Roblox 3, 2. Actually, let's skip that one. Let's see what other apps we have, which of course we do not have. Dropbox, which of course we also don't have. We can try Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one kind of covers up that one. Let's go and try Genshin Impact. We can try Temple Run. Stack 3, 2, 1. And I think the 14 was slightly faster there, but it was still very, very close between both. Getting to some gameplay, let's see if there's a big difference. Don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference. We kind of get the idea. Hopping out of this one. I wish some of these applications were the same on both. I don't know why I'm getting so many different applications between both of them. It's very, very concerning. You can see the iPhone 13 Pro was slightly faster there as well. Getting into another one, let's try thank you. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 14 again was the faster one. And I don't think I even need to waste anybody else's time. I think we kind of get the idea that for the most part, the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13 Pro are going to be very much neck and neck. There's not really going to be a phone here or the device that's going to be significantly faster than the other one in terms of speed. I think they're going to be very similar, and that's kind of the one thing that I've seen time and time again between both these devices. Because the 14 and the iPhone 13 Pro literally have the exact same chipset, you're really going to be getting almost the exact same performance. In fact, because of the iPhone 13 Pro having that promotion display, you might actually end up seeing that you're getting a faster experience on something like the iPhone 13 Pro, even though it's not necessarily faster. It might feel like it's a little bit faster because it is actually technically a promotion phone that looks and feels very, very good in that perspective. So that's probably one thing to keep in mind. Beyond that, though, you're kind of getting the same type of performance when it comes down to it. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in the camera perspective, like I said, I mean, you're getting a beautiful camera between both, and that is something that's awesome between both of these cameras. So that triple camera setup on the 13 Pro is amazing. That dual camera setup on the iPhone 14 is also very good. Wide ultra-wide camera here, wide ultra-wide telephoto lens on the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, between both these phones, again, I don't think there's one that's like significantly way better. I think the 13 Pro is probably the better one in every single area. You're getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back between both. Now, the 13 Pro, with it being kind of the older phone, it's funny because this is probably the better phone in the camera perspective. You're getting 0.5x zoom, very similar to the iPhone 14, but you're also getting 15x zoom, which is beautiful. Being able to zoom in 15x is awesome, and you basically have that type of capability here, which that in and of itself is really cool. On top of that, you're getting things like video mode, cinematic mode, slow mode, time lapse. You're still getting a lot of options here on the iPhone 14 Pro. And that is something that's really awesome. And when it comes down to it, that's one of my favorite things about the 13 Pro is that camera. Now with the iPhone 14, it's also a very, very good camera, but I don't think it's better than the iPhone 13 Pro. I think this is probably way better than this one. So on this type of phone, you are still maintaining things like 5x zoom. You're getting 0.5x zoom on the outside too. Video, cinematic mode, time lapse, lots and lots of cool features here for sure. So still a very good camera. But the 13 Pro clearly to me is the better one in almost every single area. And honestly, that kind of sums up this video. I kind of do think that the iPhone 13 Pro is the better phone. I think the 14 has some cool things. For one, you're getting a cheaper phone than the 13 Pro was in the brand new market, I guess. You're getting a very good display, still decent build quality. You're getting a good camera, good performance. It's a good phone overall, good battery life as well. It's just not a phone that I would look at and be like, wow, this is the phone that is going to be a better value per dollar than a used flagship. Like, this is not the one. The 13 Pro, because it is a used flagship, you're going to be getting yourself a $1,000 phone of 2021, but in this day and age, and there's so many internal similarities that because there's so many internal similarities, the exterior, which is the biggest difference, stands out even more. So it just makes sense to buy this phone over this one. If you really want to go for the 14, go for it. I think I'd rather recommend people to buy the 13 Pro when it comes down to it. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that helps me so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.